Hello everyone. So today I thought I'll probably talk about this question on the community, and the question is about shared configurations. So when you create a new project in Jira, also on Jira Cloud, you have the option to basically use configuration of existing project. Now in Jira, there is a concept of configurations, different schemes, and configurations could be your issue types available in the project or all the workflows that you may have. Configurations could be related to the field configuration or permissions. And when you create a new project in Jira, you can have in Jira, each project can have its own configuration. Like, imagine each project having its own set of workflows and permission schemes. But in reality, based on how companies work, usually there is not really a need to have each project with its own configuration. I mean, you can always reuse the configuration. So basically, two projects or multiple projects can share the configuration. And these configurations, talking about issue type scheme or workflow scheme, permission scheme, notification scheme, all of these configurations can be shared with multiple projects, or or maybe a subset of these schemes can be reused. So when you create a new project in Jira Cloud, for example, you can obviously select this option if you have the rights to create a project. You can obviously, go to your project tab on top, and when you click on the create project, you will get an option. Let us say I want to create a project for Scrum. I want to follow Scrum development. So I can select here Scrum, and then I can select here company managed project. And when you are doing this, you will get an option to basically reuse the configuration. So let us try to create a new project, maybe test project. And what I'll do, I'll take a look at the option here. Share project settings are not available on free plan. So basically, on free plan, because I'm using free plan, I don't really have the option. But when you select this option here, you will then be able to use or reuse the configurations for your multiple projects in one go. And this is, of course, really useful because when you are reusing the configurations, you will ensure that first of all, your Jira instance is not really, when you reuse things in Jira, let us say you are reusing custom fields or workflows, your performance will most likely be good. If you imagine having 1,000 custom fields or 100 workflows, and I'm not even joking here. I mean, there are cases where organizations have plenty of configurations, and then they never really had a process from the beginning to also manage their own Jira instance. You use Jira to do your work, deliver projects or develop products. And of course, there are a variety of use cases, but you should also set up a change control board in your Jira instance for Jira's own configurations. This is something that I have been talking about for a long time. The book that I wrote, the very first book that I wrote, in fact, from the beginning of all of my books, there was always a chapter on best practices, how to set up a change control board. And when you have this change control board, in the beginning, in case you are new to Jira, you should try to first spend some time looking at what kind of projects you want to implement and manage in Jira, what all workflows you need, what all issue types you need. And you can actually create a simple document. It could be a simple document in Word or LibreOffice or whatever, Google Docs, whatever you prefer, or even a text document. I personally prefer spreadsheets, because when you have spreadsheets, you can actually track things a bit more easily as compared to managing them in a document. But you can also use a simple Confluence page. As long as you have listed those configurations somewhere and you know what these configurations are all about, then you will have an opportunity to review any new change or any project that needs to be implemented in Jira. And usually if you spend some time in the beginning, usually you will realize that most of the projects, the way you deliver, the way you work in an organization, there is usually a consistency, and it is actually a good thing. You should try to have a standard for your Jira configurations as well, because if you have 15 or 50 projects in Jira, each having their own set of schemes, then you are missing out a lot when it comes to doing some kind of consolidated reporting. Because I mean, you can always report, but you will have to spend, and it will be a mess to understand how these projects are managing their project, managing their work, and day-to-day tracking of their activities and tasks. So you should try to have this standard across your Jira instance, and also in Confluence. I mean, in Confluence you have, as compared to Jira, the level of customization is not really a lot, but in Confluence people create templates. People create spaces with the different templates for different type of pages that they want to create, and it is always good to have some kind of a standard template or set of templates for the way you work. For example, you can have standard templates for recording your meeting minutes or maybe creating some release documents. But the idea here is that irrespective of the tool, I mean, you could be using any non-Atlassian product, you need to spend some time to define these processes in the beginning, and you can do it yourself. If you're not really sure how to do it yourself, you can always hire a consultant if you want. I mean, you can obviously ask a consultant to spend time with you in the beginning when you're doing some kind of requirement gathering. A consultant can understand the way you work, the way you have been working in the past, the way you want to work in future, and how Atlassian tools can be used to map your way of working, your requirements, by customizing these tools. And you don't really always need a consultant, because Atlassian has done a great job when it comes to implementing these tools. For example, if you're trying to create a project, there are a lot of information. I mean, there is a lot of things, a lot of information that you can, consume. For example, if I am, let us say, new to a tool, I may want to use Jira for maybe legal or maybe sales. So I have the option here to use and take a look at different templates. And this is, I think, a great thing. But even this is not always enough, because sometimes you need help from an expert from the very beginning. And in the beginning, you can obviously, ask a consultant, or maybe you can hire in-house competency, some resources who have experience, a lot of experience doing these things for clients. And one simple thing that you can do is make sure that you are reusing wherever applicable, wherever possible, the configurations bare minimum. I think that is something that you should do. In fact, this option to create a project with shared configuration was not there like long back. And what I used to do is create a project, and then when we used to create a project in Jira, the project was created with default configurations, and then you had the option to change those configurations to your own custom one. So if you have these documented processes somewhere, maybe in your knowledge base or somewhere where you can access them, that for example, if let us say you have a service desk where you are encouraging people to raise requests for you whenever they have a request to change anything in Jira, or maybe they're requesting for new projects. Encourage them to look at these documents and ask them that, okay, so based on your questions, you are trying to use Jira for Scrum, and you also want to integrate your Jira project with maybe, other tools. So based on your requirements, these are some possible schemes, or, these are the workflows that you will get. And when you document these things, not only these documents will be your reference point, but also it can be used as a knowledge base article for your requesters who are trying to request for new configurations. So they can look at these documented diagrams of your workflows, and they can figure out, okay, if I request a new project with 5 issue types for bug, this will be my recommended based on, of course, the team's work in my company. This is something that I will get from the support team when they create a new project. And of course, when they raise a ticket, when they raise a request for a new project creation, you can always tell them that if you have further requirements in future, we can definitely change or do some tweaks if needed. But as long as possible, try to have a common standard across your organization, and don't create too many custom fields and too many workflows. You will get into trouble if not now, but definitely after a few months or couple of years. Okay, so that is all I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new today. Thank you very much. Bye bye.